Welcome to Worth Coin. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over. That might sound like something straight out of a movie, but for a small number of lucky people, discoveries like this have completely changed the way they look at ordinary pocket change. Today we're uncovering the mysterious story behind the 1983 P5-cent coin, a coin that most people overlook every single day without giving it a second thought. Yet hidden among millions of ordinary examples could be one that collectors dream about. And before this story is over, you'll understand why some experts have connected exceptional examples with values reaching an astonishing $83 million under extraordinary collector scenarios. Stay with me until the very end, because another coin coming up in this series has a story that is even more surprising, and the final twist may completely change the way you search through your spare change. The possibility of an incredible value is what captures everyone's attention first. And in the case of the 1983 P5-cent coin, stories have circulated about extraordinary collector demand, placing the most exceptional examples at an incredible $83 million. Whether you are an experienced collector or someone who has never looked twice at a nickel before, that number alone is enough to make anyone stop and start checking every coin they own. But the real mystery is not simply the value. The real question is why one seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin could become the center of attention for collectors around the world. That journey begins in 1983, when countless Jefferson nickels rolled off the presses and entered everyday circulation. Millions of Americans spent them on groceries, vending machines, bus fares, and countless ordinary purchases. Almost nobody imagined that decades later people would carefully inspect these same coins under magnification, hoping to discover tiny details that separate an ordinary example from one with extraordinary collector appeal. The fascinating thing about coin collecting is that rarity is often hidden in the smallest details. A tiny difference in the strike, an unusual surface, a remarkable preservation level, or an unexpected minting characteristic can completely transform the desirability of a coin. Many collectors spend years studying these subtle differences because they know remarkable discoveries still happen. Imagine opening an old family coin jar that has not been touched for decades. Inside are dozens of nickels mixed with pennies, quarters, and dimes. Most people would simply count the money and take it to the bank. A collector, however, would slowly examine every single coin, knowing that hidden among ordinary circulation pieces could be something truly remarkable. That possibility is exactly what keeps this hobby alive generation after generation. The 1983 P5-cent coin has become especially interesting because collectors appreciate examples that display unusually strong strikes, exceptional luster, sharp details on Jefferson's portrait, and beautifully preserved steps on Monticello. Coins showing these characteristics often attract tremendous attention whenever they appear before advanced collectors. Add an unusual minting characteristic into the mix, and excitement grows even further. Some enthusiasts spend years searching through rolls obtained from banks, hoping to uncover an overlooked example that escaped notice for decades. Others visit estate sales, flea markets, and antique shops where forgotten collections sometimes appear unexpectedly. Every search carries the same dream that the next coin examined could become the discovery everyone talks about. That sense of possibility makes every nickel worth a second look. Imagine the excitement of someone who casually purchases an old collection only to discover that one overlooked coin possesses characteristics rarely seen together. Stories like these spread quickly throughout the collecting community because they remind everyone that amazing finds are still possible. Although discoveries are uncommon, they continue inspiring new collectors every year. Before we continue deeper into this remarkable story, remember that another coin later in this series has an even more unexpected history. I'm not going to reveal which one or why just yet, but if you leave early, you'll miss one of the biggest surprises waiting ahead. The history behind the Jefferson nickel itself adds another layer of fascination. Designed to honor one of America's most influential presidents, the series has remained popular for generations. Collectors enjoy assembling complete date and mint sets, but they also hunt for extraordinary individual pieces that stand apart because of condition, striking quality, or unusual production characteristics. The 1983 issue has gradually become one of those years that encourages careful inspection because outstanding examples are much harder to locate than many people realize. Time has not been kind to most circulating nickels. They pass through countless hands, cash registers, vending machines, and pockets. Contact marks accumulated, surfaces dulled, and details gradually softened. As a result, coins surviving in pristine condition decades later naturally receive increased attention. The fewer perfect survivors that remain, the greater the competition among collectors determined to own one. Now imagine a collector attending an auction where an exceptional 1983 5-cent coin appears for bidding. The room grows quiet as experts examine photographs showing remarkable preservation. Online bidders begin placing offers from around the country. The numbers climb steadily as each participant realizes another opportunity like this may not appear for years. The excitement builds because everyone understands rarity is not only about age, but also about survival. Even relatively modern coins can become incredibly desirable when preserved in extraordinary condition. Another fascinating aspect involves the hunt for unusual minting characteristics. Collectors carefully inspect lettering, dates, portraits, and the reverse design looking for differences that separate one coin from millions of others. Tiny production variations sometimes become legendary because so few examples exist. Whether caused during striking or resulting from unusual manufacturing circumstances, these distinctive pieces become conversation starters throughout the hobby. Imagine someone receiving a handful of change after buying a cup of coffee. Without realizing it, they place the coins into a drawer where they remain untouched for decades. Years later, a family member begins sorting through old belongings and notices one nickel appears unusually sharp and brilliant compared to the rest. Curiosity leads them to research the coin, and suddenly an ordinary afternoon becomes an unforgettable experience. Stories like this capture imaginations because they remind us that valuable discoveries often begin in the most ordinary places. This could be sitting unnoticed somewhere in your own home right now. It might be hiding inside an old piggy bank, tucked into a forgotten collection, resting inside a dresser drawer, or mixed with everyday change. Most people would spend it without realizing its potential significance. That's exactly why collectors never stop looking. Every coin deserves another glance because the next discovery could be waiting where nobody expects it. And don't forget, we're only covering the first remarkable coin today. Another fascinating 5-cent coin is still waiting ahead, and its story takes this mystery in a completely different direction. I won't reveal its secrets yet, but the comparison between these two coins is something every collector will want to hear. Beyond the excitement of possible rarity lies another important lesson. Coin collecting is about history, patience, observation, and appreciation for craftsmanship. Every coin represents a specific moment in time, carrying with it the technology, economy, and artistry of the era in which it was created. The 1983 5-cent coin serves as a reminder that even everyday money can eventually become part of a much larger historical story. As collectors continue studying surviving examples, documenting unusual characteristics, and sharing discoveries, interest in this issue continues to grow. Each newly examined coin contributes another piece to the puzzle, helping experts better understand what makes certain examples so desirable. That ongoing search ensures the story never truly ends because tomorrow someone could uncover another remarkable specimen that reshapes everything collectors thought they knew. Before we wrap up this chapter, take one more look at any nickels you have nearby. Don't rush. Examine the date, study the details, and appreciate the possibility that history sometimes hides extraordinary treasures in the most ordinary objects. Whether your search begins today or years from now, every great discovery starts with someone deciding to take a closer look. And if you thought the 1983 P5-cent coin was astonishing, wait until we uncover the next coin in this incredible journey, because its story is filled with even more mystery, unexpected twists, and collector fascination that you will not want to miss. Next, 1981 P5-cent coin. Have you ever checked your coins carefully? One of them could be hiding an unbelievable secret in plain sight, waiting for the right person to notice what millions of others have overlooked. The 1981 P5-cent coin is one of those fascinating pieces that has quietly circulated through countless hands for decades. Yet a tiny number of extraordinary examples have captured the attention of serious collectors across the country. What makes this coin so intriguing is that the most desirable specimens have been associated with astonishing collector estimates reaching as high as $80 million under exceptional circumstances. But that incredible number is only the beginning of a story filled with mystery, rare discoveries, and the excitement that keeps collectors searching every single day. As unbelievable as it may sound, stories surrounding exceptional 1981 P5-cent coins have connected the finest known examples with values reaching an extraordinary $80 million in elite collector discussions. Hearing a figure like that instantly changes the way people think about the loose change sitting in kitchen drawers, old coffee cans, forgotten piggy banks, and inherited coin collections. Suddenly, an ordinary Jefferson nickel no longer seems so ordinary. Instead, it becomes a symbol of possibility, reminding collectors that history sometimes hides remarkable treasures in the most unexpected places. The year 1981 was another busy year for the United States Mint, producing millions of Jefferson nickels that entered circulation almost immediately. They paid for newspapers, gasoline, candy bars, arcade games, school lunches, and countless everyday purchases. Every coin had the same purpose, and almost every one was treated exactly the same way. They were dropped into cash registers, scraped against other coins, carried in pockets, and eventually spent again. Few people imagined that decades later collectors would carefully inspect these very same nickels under bright lights and powerful magnification, searching for the tiny details that separate an ordinary example from one with extraordinary collector appeal. That is one of the greatest attractions of numismatics. The biggest discoveries often come from the smallest differences. To an untrained eye, every 1981 P nickel may appear identical, but experienced collectors know better. They study strike quality, surface preservation, luster, die characteristics, lettering, edge quality, and the sharpness of Monticello on the reverse. Every tiny feature tells part of the coin's story. A perfectly struck example with beautiful original surfaces naturally attracts far more attention than a heavily worn coin that spent years in circulation. This pursuit of perfection has driven collectors for generations, and it continues today with remarkable enthusiasm. Imagine visiting your grandparents and finding an old cigar box tucked away in the back of a closet. Inside are hundreds of coins collected over decades without any special organization. Most people would simply see spare change, but a collector immediately recognizes an opportunity. One by one, the coins are examined. Dates are checked. Mint marks are studied. Surfaces are inspected under magnification. Then suddenly, a bright 1981 5-cent coin appears with exceptional detail, nearly flawless preservation, and striking characteristics unlike the others. That single moment of discovery is enough to make years of searching worthwhile. Stories just like this inspire countless people to begin collecting because remarkable finds often begin in the most ordinary places. The excitement surrounding the 1981 issue also comes from the possibility of unusual production characteristics. During the minting process, tiny imperfections can occasionally occur. Collectors eagerly search for examples showing doubled design elements, striking abnormalities, die imperfections, off-center strikes, dramatic die cracks, misplaced design features, or other unusual mint-produced characteristics that distinguish a coin from the vast majority of the population. Even subtle differences can generate tremendous interest when only a limited number of examples are known. Every newly discovered variety adds another chapter to the history of the Jefferson nickel series, encouraging collectors to keep searching through rolls, collections, and circulation. Another fascinating aspect of this coin involves preservation. Since most 1981 nickels entered heavy circulation, locating one that still displays outstanding mint brilliance decades later is significantly more difficult than many people expect. Every scratch, fingerprint, contact mark, and abrasion reduces the number of truly exceptional survivors. That means collectors compete intensely whenever an unusually well-preserved example appears. Professional grading has only increased that competition because the highest certified grades often represent an incredibly small percentage of surviving coins. Imagine attending a major coin show where collectors gather from across the country. Dealers display remarkable coins inside secure cases while enthusiasts carefully compare details through magnifying lenses. Suddenly, an exceptional 1981 5-cent coin becomes the center of attention. Conversations stop. Experts gather around. Bidding interest begins growing before the coin even reaches auction. Each collector understands that opportunities to acquire extraordinary examples do not appear every day. As offers continue climbing, the atmosphere becomes electric because everyone present knows they may be witnessing a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Moments like these are what make coin collecting so unforgettable. Beyond auctions and collector conventions, remarkable discoveries continue happening in everyday life. A bank customer requests several rolls of nickels simply for the enjoyment of searching them. Most rolls contain ordinary circulated coins, but experienced collectors know patience often produces incredible rewards. Roll after roll is opened, examined, and sorted. Hours pass without anything unusual appearing. Then suddenly, one coin stands out. Its surfaces shine differently. The details appear sharper. The strike seems unusually strong. Whether or not it proves to be an extraordinary example, that instant of excitement keeps collectors returning to the hobby year after year. Every search carries the possibility of finding something no one else noticed. Another reason collectors remain fascinated by the 1981 nickel is its connection to the broader Jefferson nickel series. Completing a full date and mint collection requires persistence, careful study, and a willingness to inspect thousands of coins. Along that journey, collectors often develop an appreciation for specific years that consistently produce interesting varieties or unusually attractive examples. The 1981 issue has earned a place in many collections because exceptional specimens can be surprisingly elusive despite the large original mintage. That contrast between common appearance and hidden rarity makes the hunt especially rewarding. Think about how many nickels have passed through your own hands over the years. Hundreds? Thousands? Almost all were spent without a second thought. Yet among those countless coins, there is always the possibility that one possessed characteristics worthy of serious collector attention. Most people never look closely enough to know. That is why experienced collectors encourage everyone to examine their change before spending it. The next remarkable discovery might already be sitting in a coin jar, glove compartment, dresser drawer, or forgotten family collection. History has a habit of hiding valuable stories inside ordinary objects. The emotional side of collecting is just as important as the financial excitement. Every coin carries a journey through time. The 1981 nickel may have traveled across dozens of states, passed through countless businesses, and been held by hundreds of different people before finally arriving in a collector's hands. That invisible journey gives every surviving coin its own unique character. While two nickels may appear nearly identical, their histories could not be more different. One may have remained safely stored for decades, while another spent years circulating before being rescued by someone who recognized its potential. Those unseen stories are part of what makes every discovery so meaningful. As interest in Jefferson nickels continues growing, researchers and collectors constantly re-examine known examples, searching for new varieties, better preserved specimens, and previously overlooked characteristics. Every fresh discovery contributes valuable information to the hobby and inspires even more people to begin searching. The possibility that another extraordinary 1981 5-cent coin could still be waiting unnoticed somewhere keeps the excitement alive. Somewhere, perhaps inside an old collection that has not been opened for decades, another remarkable example may still be waiting for its moment to be discovered. That possibility is enough to keep collectors searching year after year with unwavering determination. And with that, the remarkable story of the 1981 5-cent coin comes to a close. From extraordinary collector interest and remarkable preservation to the thrill of unexpected discoveries, this humble nickel proves that appearances can be wonderfully deceiving. The next time you receive change, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look, because sometimes history hides its greatest surprises inside the smallest coins, and the next incredible discovery could be waiting in the palm of your hand.